There are two wolves right now in this neighborhood. And after this, we're going to leave and we are going to find them and we're going to bring them to justice. That guy laying dead on the freeway, that was an occupational hazard. You rob a bank, you run from the police, you shoot us, we will shoot you back.
Tonight, strong words from the president of the Fraternal Order of Police. Two suspects are on the run and another suspect is dead after an officer was shot today in Columbus. Thanks for joining us tonight at 11, everybody. I'm Yolanda Harris.
And I'm Andrew Kinsey, live in West Columbus, where police still have access to I-70 eastbound, blocked off at this hour. In fact, let's give you a live look at our ODOT camera. This gives you a bird's eye view of I-70. You can see it's shut down in both directions, east and westbound. Empty at Mound Street. It's been closed for more than 6 hours. No word on when it might reopen as investigators work to process the scene of an interstate shootout between officers and a group of brazen and dangerous thieves. We have live team coverage of this breaking news tonight. 10 TV's Richard Solomon has been at Grant Medical Center. Moments ago, he spoke to the police chief about this and got an update on that injured officer's condition. But we begin tonight with 10 TV's Lacey Crisp. She is live along Mound Street with an update on how this all started and ended. And Lacey, it is quite complicated.
You know, it really is, and it's still very active. You can see investigators on the scene behind me on the freeway. Well, we were actually just down the street when this all started. We were with Columbus police officers as they were giving bikes away to kids in the area when about 30 police officers took off running. That includes 2 Columbus police deputy chiefs. They were all running here to the scene. We followed them here. Now, what I can tell you is Whitehall police confirmed to me that this all started there around 2:15 this afternoon, when the armed suspects went into a car dealership and demanded the keys to a Porsche. Well, Whitehall police tracked that stolen car near the Fifth Third Bank on Hilliard-Rome Road around 4 p.m. Whitehall police say that those same suspects were the ones who robbed a bank. Now, suspects rammed at least one Whitehall police vehicle to get away. Police followed the stolen car on I-70 near Mound when Columbus police say there was an exchange of gunfire. One Columbus police officer was injured. One of the suspects was shot and killed, but 2 other suspects were able to get away. Whitehall police say these suspects are not only armed, but very dangerous.
This is exactly what you would picture in a movie. Just an intense, people coming in with ski masks, scaring the employees, displaying pistols. They were definitely there to intimidate the people that were working at that business to take this vehicle.
And BCI will investigate the officer-involved portion of this incident. Now, of course, this is still very active as there are still 2 suspects who are on the run. Andrew, back to you.
Thank you so much. The other big concern tonight is the officer's condition. How is that officer doing? 10 TV's Richard Solomon live now outside Grant Medical Center, where he's been stationed throughout the evening getting updates. And Richard, you were just providing an update from the police chief. The first time we've seen her throughout this evening. What does she say?
Well, Andrew, I just spoke with Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant as she was pulling up here to the emergency center, as she was getting out, going to see her officer. She tells me that she has spoken with him. He is in good spirits given the circumstances, and she's also spoken with his family, but he has a long road ahead of him. Chief Bryant tells me she rushed into town immediately after she got that news. Police say the officer was brought here in critical condition but after the shooting, but is expected to be okay now. We learned that earlier this evening. For President Brian Steele of FOP, he says the officer lost a lot of blood, but Chief Bryant tells me they will not stop until they find those 2 suspects.
Had an opportunity to speak to his wife and speak to him in good spirits. The department is in good spirits, and I will tell you for sure that the heroic efforts of the men and women in blue and the personnel at Grant Hospital saved my officer's life.
And police have not yet gone into further detail about where that officer was shot. But again, Chief Bryant says that manhunt will continue until they find those 2 suspects. Of course, we will continue to keep you updated on this and that officer's progress as we learn more. For now, reporting live at Grant Medical Center, I'm 10 TV's Richard Solomon. Back to you.
Richard, we are all wishing that officer a speedy recovery. Thank you so much for your live report back here along I-70. Within the last 5 minutes or so, we have noticed a number of officers coming off the interstate, which could be a sign that they could soon reopen it. However, it is still closed east and westbound here at Mound Street. Yolanda, the hope of police tonight is that those two suspects who remain on the run will peacefully surrender to them by simply calling 911 or saying where they are so officers can come pick them up. Until then, their search continues in this area tonight for them.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Well, so just a recap for you. One suspect in all of this is dead and two others are still on the run tonight. And it all started with the armed robbery of the Byers Automotive dealership in Whitehall. Take a listen to one of the 911 calls of that incident.
There's a guy over here with a gun in our showroom demanding that he gets a vehicle.
Okay.
Steal a vehicle at gunpoint.
Tonight, I spoke one-on-one with the owner and vice president of Byers Automotive, George Kaufman, and he told me exactly how this all played out.
This afternoon, a person walked into our store and brandished a firearm and held one of our salespeople at gunpoint, essentially hostage, and demanded keys to a vehicle, of which he did eventually obtain keys to a Porsche Cayenne. He initially walked into the service department and started talking to one of our service advisors and was asking what I was told very odd questions and had some very unusual behavior. And they were a little suspicious of what he was trying to get across. And then I think he realized at that point that he just needed to do what he did, and pulled out the firearm at that point. You know, and my salesperson that was held at gunpoint, I just spoke with him just recently and a few minutes ago, and poor guy, he was like, I didn't know what to give him. I didn't know what to do. And like, you did what you did the right thing. You gave him the first keys you could find, and just, I'm like, his safety was paramount. That's all I cared about, was that he is okay. I don't care about the car. I care about him. But it was very, very chaotic. Thankfully, none of our staff was hurt. They're very shaken up and obviously a little frazzled, but they're okay. The fact that people in the middle, I mean, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not in the middle of the night. It's not 3 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, that people feel like they can just walk in and do something like this is very, very frightening to me.
Kaufman also wanted to thank the Whitehall and Columbus Police Departments for their quick response to this incident. He is thankful none of his employees was hurt, and his heart goes out to the police officer who was shot. Now, we'll make sure to stay on top of this as breaking news develops, so download our free 10 TV News app for any updates to this story.